tenants of the building. Not all of them in the case, but there were something like 200 artist studios, and they paid monthly rent, including Jonathan Cohen, to the landlord, and this became very factually important in the trial. This is just a close-up, and you can see a close-up in the center there. That's called a 7-angle illusion that Mears One executed, and is considered a masterpiece in kind of the graffiti art world. Mostly because it's an immersive piece, and when you understand the size and the immersiveness of it. But after, in trial, obviously it was very difficult to communicate that. All of the works were aerosol murals. Some of them were hand-painted over them and touched. They were, as I said, historic artists and emerging artists. Emerging artists from around the world, at some point, probably after about 5 or 6 years of Jonathan kind of elevating the reputation of that site, would fly and flock to Five Points as a portfolio builder. It was really considered a career highlight and achievement for many. It was important to Jonathan to showcase the language of graffiti art because over the generations it has changed, and as it's entered into mass culture, it has changed, and many people don't understand that language. So he used Five Points as a kind of living museum for the different styles and also the important artists. To university students, high school students, grade school students, all art students, people would go there and learn about the language. It was recognized from artists across the world. It was published in thousands of articles, blogs, and scholarly journals as a site. It was respected inside and outside, as Virginia suggested, of the graffiti world, because street cred is very, very important. It's about learning your craft on the street, and it's very different than a fine art artist or a studio artist. So it had kind of both of those elements. And I wanted to just give a quick, just a quick sample. This is Ox One, who is a self-trained artist. And this is the kind of environment that was happening all the time. It's quite incredible. These artists did this for 12 years with no financial backing, no dealer. They gathered sponsorship from major brands. There's lots of different interpretations. Some are extremely limited, some are expansive. Chris has written extensively, and actually I had never met him, and I'm glad to be on a panel with him now, and to be colleagues with him, but his paper was actually very crucial to me because he kind of summarized that some of the purpose is also kind of controversial of art. Should it be a gatekeeping mechanism to prevent silly lawsuits, meaning, or should it be a high bar gatekeeping that only preserves works that are really, really, really historic? So that was at kind of stake. And then for myself, as someone called to try to sort this all out, what type of proof is required? There's no establishment, there's no recipe book, there's no appraisal templates to follow. There's no best practices method. It was really something that I had to try to figure out, how am I going to approach it, and what's going to be my methodology, and how am I going to defend that. Also, the documentation of the site is completely different than typical art historical research because it exists as a diaspora of information, largely online. There's a lot of oral history rather than written history. Scholarly attention for 5 Points and many of the artists actually existed everywhere else except art history, urban studies, American history, visual culture, architectural preservation, urban studies, but very little in art history, which shows you how different and surprising that all is for us working in the field of contemporary art, because we just accept it as